New York City has seen its fair share of iconic duos, but there's something uniquely intriguing about Melania and Barron Trump, a former First Lady known for her timeless elegance and fiercely guarded privacy, a towering teenager often a mystery, living life under the weight of a famous last name. Together, they've turned heads and sparked whispers as they carve out a life that's as captivating as it is enigmatic. What makes this mother-son pair stand out in a city brimming with stories? Is it their impeccable style? The protective bond they share? Or the way they've managed to quietly capture attention without seeking the limelight? Stay tuned, because as this video unfolds, you'll see how their every move hints at something far bigger than appearances, a story of resilience, love, and reinvention. And here's a little reward for sticking around. By the end, you'll gain a fresh perspective on how Melania and Barron balance life under the public gaze while keeping their personal world intact. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming next. Melania Trump's story is anything but ordinary. Born in Slovenia, she began her journey as a model, gracing high-profile runways and magazine covers. But what really sets her apart isn't her rise to fame, it's how she's chosen to wield that fame. While many in her position might have leaned into the spotlight, Melania has consistently stepped back, focusing instead on her family, her values, and maintaining a sense of mystique. After her time in the White House, many expected her to become a fixture of the public scene. Instead, Melania has built a life rooted in privacy and purpose. Now based in New York City, she's shifted her focus toward raising Barron, fiercely protecting his space in a world that's constantly watching. But here's the real question: why does she intrigue so many even when she says so little? It's the small glimpses, her appearances at high-profile events, her composed demeanor, her protective stance as a mother that hint at a much deeper story. And as we unravel the layers of her Nike life, it becomes clear that Melania isn't just keeping a low profile. She's rewriting what it means to live with grace under pressure. Stick around, because in the next section, we're diving into Barron's world, the teenager who's quietly making waves as he comes of age. What is it about him that's capturing the world's attention? You'll find out soon. At just 17, Barron Trump stands out not just because he towers over most adults at an astonishing 6'7", but because of how little we truly know about him. While the rest of the Trump family often dominates headlines, Barron remains a quiet, almost elusive figure. And maybe that's what makes him so fascinating. Born into a world of privilege and scrutiny, Barron has had a childhood unlike any other. Cameras have been pointed his way since birth, yet he's mastered the art of staying under the radar. Unlike other teenagers of famous families who flock to social media for attention, Barron has chosen silence. No Instagram, no public statements, just occasional glimpses alongside his mother, Melania, at key events. So what's he like behind the scenes? Those close to the family hint at a young man with a sharp mind and a strong sense of independence. His towering height has sparked endless speculation about whether basketball or sports are in his future, but Barron keeps us guessing. Perhaps what stands out most is his close relationship with his mother, Melania. The two are often spotted together, and she's made it clear that shielding him from unnecessary attention is her top priority. But Barron's quiet presence is starting to make noise. His recent appearances have sparked conversations about his future. What will a young man with his unique upbringing and potential do next? Stick around, because in the next section, we'll uncover how Melania and Barron are shaping their life in New York City, and why this duo keeps the world watching. New York City is a stage like no other, buzzing with energy, glamour, and constant attention. For Melania and Barron Trump, it's not just home, it's a carefully chosen backdrop for their unique way of life. But here's the twist: instead of diving into the chaos, they've mastered the art of standing out by blending in. Melania is often seen walking the city's streets with her signature grace, but always with a purpose, whether attending a discreet charity event or spending quality time with Barron. For her, Nike isn't about being noticed, it's about creating a life that prioritizes family and values over fanfare. Barron, on the other hand, attends one of the most prestigious private schools in the city. It's a setting designed for privacy, allowing him to focus on academics and grow away from the relentless spotlight that comes with his name. Despite the attention surrounding his height and potential interests, he's rarely seen, and that only adds to the curiosity. Their Manhattan residence, rumored to have breathtaking views and unparalleled luxury, becomes more than just a home. It's their sanctuary, a place where they can step away from the world and live on their own terms. But how do they navigate a city that thrives on celebrity sightings and public exposure without losing their footing? That's where their approach becomes fascinating. Their appearances are calculated, their lives carefully guarded, and yet, their presence keeps people guessing. In the next section, we'll dive into what makes Melania and Barron's bond so powerful, how they formed a team that stands strong in a world filled with challenges, and why their relationship captivates everyone. You won't want to miss what's next. In a world where relationships often crack under the strain of public scrutiny, the connection between Melania and Barron Trump is a story of quiet strength. She's not just a mother, she's his shield, his guide, and his constant in a world that often feels anything but steady. From the moment Barron was born, Melania made it clear that her role as a mother was non-negotiable. Even during her time as First Lady, she prioritized his well-being above all else, often staying in New York to ensure he had a stable environment while growing up. Her protective instincts have shaped the way Barron navigates his unusual life, offering him support while allowing him to forge his own path. What's particularly intriguing is how their bond transcends the usual parent-child dynamic. It's evident in the rare but telling moments they share in public, the way she places a guiding hand on his arm, the quiet confidence with which he carries himself. Those glimpses tell a story of mutual respect, a relationship built on trust and understanding. But their closeness isn't without its challenges. Being part of such a high-profile family brings constant media attention and intense pressure. Yet Melania has managed to build a world where Barron can focus on being himself, not just Barron Trump. This unshakable bond is part of what makes them so fascinating as a duo. It's not just about what they say or do, it's about the strength they exude together. But there's more to this story, and it's in the way they've subtly influenced those around them. In the next section, we'll explore how this mother-son team is quietly shaping perceptions, standing out in their own way, and why they've become a symbol of resilience in a city that never sleeps. Stay tuned, because the most surprising part of their story is just around the corner. In a city teeming with personalities vying for attention, Melania and Barron Trump have done the opposite, and somehow, that's what makes them stand out. Their influence in New York City isn't about making bold moves or dominating headlines, it's about the intrigue they create by staying just out of reach. Melania's fashion choices, for example, still set trends, even without her making public statements. When she steps out, her presence alone sparks conversations, with her poised and polished demeanor commanding respect. Meanwhile, Barron's rare public appearances are enough to create a stir. People are captivated not by what he does, but by the mystery of who he's becoming. Their subtle power lies in how they move carefully, intentionally, and always on their terms. Unlike many public figures, they've chosen privacy as their strategy. By staying elusive, they've built an aura of exclusivity that keeps people talking, wondering, and watching. But it's not just about appearances. Behind the scenes, Melania and Barron's nightlife represents resilience and reinvention. They've built a life that defies the expectations often placed on them as part of the Trump family. It's a quieter kind of strength, one that has captured the attention of a city famous for chewing up and spitting out the unprepared. Why does this matter? Because in a world obsessed with oversharing, they remind us that there's power in keeping certain things close. And this calculated approach ensures they remain a topic of fascination without lifting a finger to demand it. In the final section, we'll look ahead. What could the future hold for this intriguing duo? And why does their story continue to captivate so many? Stick around for a surprising conclusion that ties it all together. You won't want to miss what's next. So, what makes Melania and Barron Trump such a fascinating pair? It's the quiet confidence with which they navigate their world. In a city where so many seek the spotlight, they've managed to command attention by doing the exact opposite. They've built their own narrative, one that's about family strength and moving through life on their own terms. But here's the real question: what comes next for them? As Barron grows into adulthood, will he step out of the shadows and carve his own path? And how will Melania continue to shape her role as a mother and a figure of intrigue in one of the world's most dynamic cities? The answers aren't clear, and maybe that's part of what keeps us captivated. Their story isn't finished, and every move they make adds another layer to the mystery. One thing is certain: they've become symbols of how to balance public and private life in a way few can manage. Now, here's something to think about. Melania and Barron's story might be a reminder to all of us. In a time where everyone is pressured to share everything, maybe the real power lies in what you choose not to share. Before you go, take a moment to share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think is next for this dynamic duo? And if this story left you curious or inspired, pass it on to someone who loves untold stories about the people shaping our world. After all, their next chapter is one we'll all want to watch unfold.